Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be talking about The Amazing Spider-Man number 39. We will be going through the entirety of the comic, so spoiler warning if you haven't read the story yourself. And then at the end I will be giving my thoughts and opinions on it, so do stay tuned for that. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video at any point, make sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's jump right into this comic. Our story begins 6 hours after the chaos starts, and we follow a couple who's terrified out of their minds. Unfortunately for them, they come across the Ringmaster. They're desperately asking the Ringmaster what's happening, what's going on. The Ringmaster replies by giving a brief summary of the events that are going down, right before he mind controls them to join his army. Upon doing so, he commands them to continue fighting, as they reveal that he's in the middle of a fight with Crime Master and his goons. Since Crime Master has joined forces with AIM, he's using their technology to fight back at the other crime bosses. But since AIM is using like high-tech, Crime Master really doesn't want to deal with any high technology. The guy just wants to shoot a thing. Like, give him something to shoot. Nothing complicated. And I love that. That is definitely Crime Master right there. He's old school. Just give him a revolver or something. While that chaos is going down, it's being observed by Spider-Man and his now newly recruited gang members, who they themselves are trying to stop all this chaos. Who's on the team? She-Hulk, Miles is Spider-Man, Elektra's Daredevil, and Spider-Woman. The gang's all there. They really waste no time as they go down there and fight the crime lords, neutralizing both Crime Master and Ringmaster. After doing so, they communicate with Luke Cage, who gives them the lowdown over what's going down in the city. So all the members in Spidey's newly recruited team split off to go do their own thing. Miles gives Peter the biggest sass here. It's crazy, but I enjoy it. So all the characters split off to go do their own thing, except for She-Hulk, who ends up teaming up with Spider-Man to go take down some monsters down in Metropolis. While that's going down, Black Mariah is making a move on Tombstone's territory by trying to take over some docks. When the Beetle shows up with her crew and takes Black Mariah, flies up high and drops her, showing everyone there that she really means business. They do state that after falling, Black Mariah survived. Then we move over to the Harlem hospital and we accompany Joe Robertson, who's there with his son, who recently ended up getting tangled in all this mess, causing Randy to get shot, and that's why he's in the hospital. When Tombstone walks up and starts questioning Joe about his son, also questioning about Janice, since he hasn't been conscious since the wedding back in issue 31. Joe Robertson fills in Tombstone and what's going on, tells him to look out the window because it's plain as day that there's chaos going down. Tombstone tells Joe to get his pants, but Joe Robertson replies by saying, "Lonnie, get your own pants." And I love that moment. Then we cut over to Spider-Man and She-Hulk, who are taking down the monsters over at Murray Hill. And they have a joke where Spider-Man is cowardly hiding behind She-Hulk, basically having her deal with all this mess. They get to a point where She-Hulk has to call out Spider-Man and make fun of him for basically hiding behind her, which inclines Spider-Man to jump front and center into the fight. As they're dealing with the monsters, we get a glimpse at a mysterious character who's just observing them do all this stuff. And he's communicating with who I assume to be Madame Mask, as they both fill each other in on what's going down on each other's perspectives. After the Beetle takes out Black Mariah, she's seen with her crew trying to plan her next move, when a figure walks in and it's revealed to be Tombstone, her father. Both Tombstone and Janice get reacquainted when Tombstone begins plotting their next move, but Janice isn't taking it. She tells no on Tombstone's plan, and he begins questioning her like, why not? She claims that she wants to ride out this entire chaos. She wants to take all of Harlem for herself. Tombstone then confronts her and tells her that she's not in charge. Being Tombstone's daughter, Janice has the balls and talks back to him saying that she has been in charge all this time that he's been out. At this point, she's upright facing her father, Tombstone, declaring that she is willing to take the territory off his hands. Tombstone begins asking her whether she knows what Tombstone has been through to get to that point, what he's been through to get everything he's accumulated. But Janice claims that no, he kept all that from her. Janice questions Tombstone whether he has the stomach to do it to his own daughter. Upon taking a moment, Tombstone replies with no, effectively enabling the Beetle to take over her father's territory. She tells him that she's glad that he's okay, puts on her mask, and walks out to try to defend the territory that is now hers. As they're all walking out of the room, Tombstone tells White Rabbit to go with Janice, as a way of saying that now that he's not the crime lord. You don't have to follow me anymore. You're the Beatles' second hand now. After multiple players are making moves throughout the city, we cut back over to Madame Mask after she took out Hammerhead. Fortunately for Hammerhead, it looks like he's still alive. Although for who knows how long, because Madame Mask grabs him, drags him down to what looks like a torture room, which already have quite a few people it looks like inside of it. We get shown their silhouettes, and that's the last we see of Hammerhead and Madame Mask. We cut back over to Spider-Man and She-Hulk, who successfully took out the monsters that they were fighting earlier, and they're communicating with Luke Cage, talking about the next move. This is where they bring up the joke again about Spider-Man hiding behind She-Hulk during the fight, by having She-Hulk try to have Spider-Man bring up during the conversation with Luke Cage about how he was hiding behind her. As Spider-Man's communicating with Luke Cage, She-Hulk notices a figure in the distance, and she's trying to get Spider-Man's attention, but he's like trying to brush her off, almost giving like a sibling vibe here. And upon looking over, it's revealed that it's Tombstone who walked up. And Tombstone declares to Spider-Man how they're gonna take down some crime bosses together again. This is where She-Hulk questions to Spider-Man, y'all teamed up before? And Spider-Man replies with, I don't want to talk about it. And we're left on a to be continued. You might already be aware of my thoughts on the comic, just based on the way I talked about it as we went through it. But if you didn't pick up on it, well, I love the comic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I love the two clashes in the beginning with the two old school villains, the Crime Master and the Ringmaster. The Ringmaster being able to control just civilians into joining his army, and they're fighting the Crime Master's army, who he was able to team up with AIM, a more highly technological set of team, which was very funny to see their interaction with the Crime Master because he just doesn't know how to use their technology. So the guy's just struggling, and he kept demanding for a weapon that just shoots, while the AIM guy is trying to help him out on how to use the weapon by telling him to imagine rays and to think of plasma, and he's like, I don't want to think of plasma, just give me something that shoots. That was just a lot of fun. I like how the characters that Spider-Man was able to recruit for his team, except for one character, which was Elektra's Daredevil. She just seemed the most out of place. Like, what sort of history does Spider-Man and Elektra have together? I know Spider-Man and Daredevil, they're homies. It would have made more sense to have Matt Murdock in this scene as Daredevil, joining up with Spider-Man's crew, but it is what it is. Each one of Spider-Man's members brought a unique thing to the fight, as they took on Crime Master and Ringmaster. I especially love Elektra Daredevil taking on the Ringmaster. The Ringmaster is just trying to hypnotize her by, controlling her, and he's gloating like, oh, you silly buffoon, don't you know how I work? You're just gonna join my ranks. And Daredevil's like, you dumbass, you get the mind of an undisciplined child screaming through a megaphone. And she brings up how she's spent time training her mind, and walks up and takes out the Ringmaster. We also get a little Venom Saber action from Miles, which is a relatively new thing from him, as well as She-Hulk just crushing things. It's a lot of fun there too. Before I forget, I do want to point out the sass that Miles gives Peter here after the fight with the Ringmaster and the Crime Master. Right before they all split off to do their own thing and Spider-Man and She-Hulk team up, Spider-Man tells Miles, careful, Kingsley is no joke, because he's going off to fight the Hobgoblin. And Miles responds, I told you, I've been doing just fine without you. And that blew my mind. I was like, whoa. I've never seen sass from Miles before, like, that's crazy. Well, especially to Peter. If you read The Amazing Spider-Man First Strike #1, which I did cover on my channel, go check it out, Miles ended up giving Peter the whole with great power comes great responsibility speech, which I believed was pretty damn impactful, especially coming from Miles. So seeing the sass towards Peter, I was like, what the heck? Once again, they do bring back Kareem, one of my personal favorite characters, as both him and White Rabbit are trying to survive Black Mariah's takeover of Tombstone's territory. They're just fighting over the fact that White Rabbit didn't even bring a weapon. Great interactions there. And then followed by a rescue as the Beatles shows up with reinforcements and grabs Black Mariah and drops her from a great height. I'm over here like, whoa, she is so hardcore. Like, did she really just take her out? What the heck? Although White Rabbit does establish that Black Mariah survives the fall, but it doesn't take away how hardcore the Beetle is. Adding on to more moments that I enjoyed was the interaction with Joe Robertson and Tombstone as he wakes up from a coma. Reading more interactions with anyone that's close to Tombstone, it seems that anyone that is close to him has this sort of mannerism of talking. As anyone close to Tombstone, they sort of feel inclined to match up to his toughness level. Tombstone's outright asking Joe Robertson to grab his pants for him, and Joe of course declines by telling him like, dude, get your own damn pants. I love that. We also get a glimpse of the character who I assume to be Shotgun communicating with Madame Mask, elaborating more on what their next move is. And this is great because this establishes a sense of just multiple things are moving all at once, and there's many different players at play. And back to how I was saying how anyone very close to Tombstone just ends up stooping to his tough level. When Tombstone is talking to his daughter about passing over the territory to her, I love the fact that his daughter, the Beetle, ends up stooping to his level and matching his toughness and just saying like, no dude, I've been controlling your territory this long, I'm gonna go all the way and control all of it. I don't care what you say. Gets to the point where she plays chicken with him, acknowledging the fact that Tombstone has taken out anyone in his life that has gotten in his way. And Janice questions like, are you gonna do the same with your own daughter? Tombstone then replies by saying, no, the territory is all yours. I love that super huge character moment for Tombstone and his daughter. And then on top of that, White Rabbit questions, what do you want me to do, boss? As she tends to be the second in command for Tombstone, or just in general take care of Janice as like a bodyguard. But in this case, since Tombstone passed on the territory over to the Beetle, Tombstone tells White Rabbit to go over with her to be her new second in command. Previously she was a bodyguard, but now she's just considered a second in command. Well, that's at least how I interpreted it. Overall, I love Tombstone's involvement in this entire story. It's great. Now moving on to a different character who I assumed to have already been taken out of the game, Tombstone seemed to be still alive, dragged by Madame Mask down to a torture chamber, and we'll see if he even makes an appearance again. At this point, Madame Mask is just the top dog out here planning all this stuff out. Overall, I for sure loved the comic. It was a lot of fun. If you didn't read The Amazing Spider-Man First Strike #1, you have to read that one because it starts everything off. It's like part 1, this is like part 2 of the story arc. I did cover it on my channel if you guys want to go check it out. And if you guys read this comic, let me know what your thoughts on it. Did you guys enjoy it? Have you guys been enjoying the story so far? What do you think of this particular issue? Did you guys read The Amazing Spider-Man First Strike? What did you guys think of Tombstone? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video at any point, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.